Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this update we are going to check out Near Protocol's price chart. And if you remember, the last time that we were on this chart, I think we were right around these areas, and the idea was that there's a very high chance that the final one, at least in the short term, is not in yet. Why is that? Because if you want to argue that we're gonna have our final low around here, then okay, you need to be able to show me off of the lowest low, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the upside. This specific example is an impulse. Rules for it are, we should not have overlapping of the waves between wave 2 and 4, and in any kind of 5 wave, wave 3 is simply not allowed to be the smallest wave. And let's go on the live chart and maybe on some lower time frames and see why did we say back then that probably the final low is not in yet. Here is why. Question: how exactly are you able to find a 5 wave from this point to about here in order for you to be able to be optimistic? Are you going to say this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, and never mind the fact that in here we are having overlapping of the waves, because in case of an expanding leading diag or maybe a leading diagonal in form of a wedge, you are allowed to have overlapping of the waves. However, pay attention to the second important rule that we said. Wave 3 under any kind of circumstances is simply not allowed to be the smallest wave. And let's measure it from this point to about here. Is it smaller than or supposedly wave 5? Yes. Is it also smaller than 1? As you can see, by like a decent margin, the answer is also yes. And this, my friends, was exactly why we said probably in near we are going to have some more downward price action, because we are simply not able to find some bullish structures off of the lowest low. And as you can see, we finally got our move down. Now, about the shape of this whole move on the downside and whether we have hit our final low or not, you know what, that can be up for debate. In one scenario, you can argue that maybe we are having an A, B, C zigzag, which the subways for it are going to be like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave down into A, corrective movement into wave B. Let's say sure, this time an A, B, C, and another 5 down into C. We are also allowed to consider a W, X, Y in form of a double zigzag, and well, as the name clearly says, we are going to have for our wave W and also wave Y A, B, C zigzag, and for wave X we can have different possibilities. Let's say, yeah, okay, this one is also an A, B, C. Now let's go on the live chart and see what's happening. Okay, so you can argue maybe this is one, and then probably I'm gonna say to about here we're gonna have a wave 2, and followed by that we're gonna have like yet another move down into wave 3, 4, 5, and this can be also considered as another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on the downside to about here. And well, on a higher degree, what are we going to have? Probably the sub waves for a beautiful looking ABC zigzag. On the other hand, you can actually consider this move down as an A, B, C. In fact, probably to about the lowest low down here, this can be from this high, like yet another ABC zigzag down. Let's say sure to about this point, and well, this suggests that number one, our correction is over and we have probably in near protocol hit our final low. And in terms of the shape of it, this is a WXY in form of a double zigzag. Question: which scenario is going to be in play? At the moment, I really do not have a good answer for you. And in fact, for that matter, nobody, and I really mean it, nobody is able to tell you for sure which scenario is happening. But I think we need to get help from Elliott Waves and specifically pay attention to what is happening starting from the lowest low in order for us to understand what is going on in here and whether we are looking very much bullish in near protocol in the short term, or maybe this is going to be just a temporary pullback up and afterwards we're going to have yet another move on the downside. Now, earlier in the video, we said if we want to be bullish, then okay, we need to see a 5 wave on the upside starting from the lowest low. And so far, I can tell you that maybe this is like 1, 2, wave 3 to about here, correction for 4, another move on the upside into wave 5. This initial quick move up off of the lowest low when you go on some lower time frames is also a 5 wave. So maybe on a higher degree, this is 1, this is 2, and this is going to be into a wave 3. And what you need to see in order to be a bit more optimistic in here is a consolidation pattern into wave 4 hopefully soon, and then another move up into wave 5. Question: right in here, is it going to be a buy opportunity? I don't really think so. Why? Because even according to the most bullish case, what are we going to have after a 5 wave down? You know what? A slow and choppy move on the downside, and then right in here, assuming that you are able to identify all the right subwaves, you know what, fair enough, that can be a buy opportunity. So for now, what you want to see in here, to argue the low is already in, is a strong move up followed by a very slow and choppy move on the downside. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time. Goodbye.